So the story of Workpay is that we perfected the product for one country. Charity begins at home. We became good for what we were doing for Kenya.
In Kenya.
And quickly figured that this market is for us to take, Africa.
Yes.
In all those countries, we have a functioning
for full compliance
Workpay entity.
Wow.
That is now has to comply for the statutory so that we can go to the client and assure them we are fully compliant.
So you'll never get into any issues.
We are coming from the place of writing checks, sending to M-Pesa, or giving people cash. I have a lot of those stories of people who used to line up and receive
in cash
their envelopes. So we're looking at that whole process and automating it in a system so that you can now come in. There is a web-based system. You onboard your employees there. You write the salaries. If you have documents to upload, you upload. You have all the information. Come end month, you run the payroll. There are different people of employees depending on different sectors of the economy. There are people who are paid per day.
Yes.
There are people who, because they are paid per day, are also paid either weekly. If you're doing weekly, you have to remember that there is a weekly component of the statutories that need to be calculated.
Even so if they'll be paid at the end of the month.
So that they can add up at the end of the month and you are compliant.
To the required amount.
There are other people who are paid via number of days worked. I see it in the security sector. Guards report, sometimes they don't report. For the days they don't report, it's called absent days, they are deducted. So you have also to have systems that track the attendance and connected to the payroll. So that at the end of the month you can tell so-and-so worked 25 days. They had 4 off days which are entitled to be paid. Total they worked 29 days, but they should have worked 30 days. So they have a day that needs to be deducted. We do all that calculation in a software. Then we subject the deductions. Remember also, they have other deductions. They have formed a circle welfare. Everybody contributes 200.
Or those who pay pension or some sort. Okay.
So the check-offs.
You include all that.
All that. And
I have my final pay.
This is the net pay. And then what we did was we also automated the net pay disbursement. I think that's what I had said before. Where you have the calculation you can get, because again you can do spreadsheets and get the figure. Then there was the process of the payment and the dignity around the payment. And I think we have created dignity there to ensure that people are paid securely, accurately, and in their own space.
Confidentiality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because also that
it's not a public
lining
information
up to be given,
especially in time of salary increments. You go to the tea room and hey, did you hear Edwin? He got 10%. How come me I got 5? Hey, he knows the mudos. Wanajuana. There are people so with, confidentiality kicks in.
There are people with stories of they look at the mood of the boss and they know today
it's not looking good.
Today we are not getting paid.
But I also heard when it's payday, we are very good to the HR director. I think we need to start being good to you. You are doing the payment. So we bring for you the tea, we serve you. Anything else you want, madam? And then I say, yeah, I can have a cake. So it's brought very fast because it's payday.
Yes.
So that you'd focus on that file, Anyway, so this is very good. Now, let me ask you, you have operations in 30 countries. So how do you deal with the issue of multi-currencies? Tax regulations are different, requirements for all those additional contributions and deductions are different. So how do you manage all that in a multi-country kind of system?
Yeah. Good question. So we've scaled. I think now it's where we are.
Yeah.
If there were enough time, I would speak about.
Just in brief.
I would speak about the journey to 30 countries.
And I'm asking this because I know some of your customers would also have operations, staff sitting in Kenya, some sitting in Tanzania, some sitting in Uganda, some in Nigeria, some in Zambia, maybe South Africa. So it is important for us to understand how do you manage such a scenario and still be in compliance in each of those countries.
Yes. So the story of Workpay is that we perfected the product for one country. Charity begins at home. We became good for what we were doing for Kenya.
In Kenya.
And quickly figured that this market is for us to take, Africa.
Yes.
And we started seeing Africa
and the need is the same.
As one market. Yeah. So we quickly expand.
So you scaled to the other countries.
Yeah. The first place we went to was Nigeria.
Okay.
Again, when you look at the highest countries to adopt technology in Africa, it's Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, but then you will have a problem with the Amharic issue of Egypt, and then Sub-Sahara, you will keep it Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa. So we quickly expanded to Lagos. We had a team there, and the story was the same. We've done the product here. Let us also figure out, and this is the complexity of payroll, is that it's very different
in each country.
In every country. And not just different in every country, it's also very different within the same country in different sectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you will find some places like EP70, they have a unionized payroll, they have some deductions.
For the unions, the trade unions.
Yes.
That's a different dimension.
It's a tax-free zone. There is a way they have also cautioned their employees, so the tax calculation is different than the other. So you have to put all those nuances and then have a way to replicate this for the other countries. So what happened was COVID happened in 2020. We were still on the journey of expanding to the other countries. Then COVID happened. And because of that, it was a disruptor in the space. Companies started hiring remote employees in Africa.
Yes.
Yeah. Engineers now could work from Kenya, but they are working for a global company.
Yeah.
And the need for something called employer of record. It is a service as old as HR, but it was not known, where you have a company being subcontracted to be in charge of the HR component of an employee from a compliance perspective. Because if you are a company in the UK hiring an engineer in Kenya, you do not see the need to come here, register an entity, register for all the statutories,
becomes the employer.
Only to do all that work so that you can employ a single engineer.
Person. Yeah.
So the employer of record business was born out of that need.
So you act as the employer on record.
Yes.
So you almost like outsource the services to that guy in the UK, the company in the UK, and you comply fully here.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's how we shifted from, and it was also adaptability. And I think companies need to be adaptable to the changes in the business environment.
It's dynamic.
Because when we were starting, we were a software company.
Yes.
Now we are a HR company. HR in the sense that we offer the platform, people subscribe to use it. Yeah.
Yes.
But we also have a HR services component where we have outsourcing and we are doing all these services for people. So in the business of offering that, we were able to scale across Africa in the 30 countries because this is the biggest thing that you have to do in the employer of record space.
Yeah.
You must have the entity. So that's how, by regulation, we were forced to register a Workpay entity in all those countries, we have a functioning
For full
Workpay
compliance.
entity
Wow.
that is now has to comply for the statutories so that we
Yes.
can go to the client and assure them we are fully compliant.
So you'll never get into any issues with the authorities in any country.
So
Wow, that's
the
amazing.
promise is we help you hire compliantly because we can tell you the labor laws of that country. Even when you're drafting the employment contract, we advise you and we tell you these are the clauses to look out for.
I think what I'm beginning to understand now is that, you know, HR is not just about getting the person.
Yeah.
It's a whole complex thing about the financial aspect of it, the benefits part of it, the compliance part of it, and the legal part of it.
Yeah.
Because there are legal implications to every action, and of course the taxation aspect of it, and that's where you're plugging in. So when I look at you, now Chief Business Officer of Workpay, for now from 2017, that's what, how many years now?
27,
About
I think.
7 years.
7, yeah.
I actually see a person who has got the convergence of those elements of finding your purpose. You are doing what you love, which is your passion.
Yeah.
You are doing something or offering something that the world needs through Workpay. You are doing what you are good at. I mean, business, what did you call them? Information systems and that whole technology space.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you are doing what you get paid for, so that Wanjiko goes to school.
Yes.
I know she's called Wanjiko, the first girl.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good place to be. And I guess looking at where we are coming from, I think it's amazing. So the conversation continues. This is the executive table with Mary Wamae, and we continue with Edwin Mwangi, the Chief Business Officer of Workpay. Continue watching. We are coming back. We'll be back soon.